Patrick G. Lowe, Public Speaking 111, Deb Lawson, date 4-30-2015. A need is arising for college athletes to get paid for their contributions to their reputable colleges. Colleges make millions upon millions of dollars off what the sports they provide and also their advertisements they create. However, college athletes do not see a dime of this money. A way in which this can be solved is that the players can be paid a stipend for what they do during their season and off-season. Many college athletes have spoken out and said how helpful it would have been if they would have been paid money during their time at college. I have conducted research on this topic and feel that I am a reputable source to speak upon this topic. Universities have been making millions and millions of dollars ever since the beginning of sports for their colleges. This is an important thing to remember because every sport activity that they have, you have to pay to either enter, pay for concessions, or pay for the advertisement in the stores. However, all of the stuff that goes on, the players don't get to see any of that money, even though they're the main attraction for why the people come. Student athletes will put in a 44-hour work week. This is something to also remember because that is more than a 40-hour work week type person. And those people who sometimes even struggle to make ends meet. Now, how do you expect a player to do 44 hours of training and work while also trying to study and keep a 2.5 GPA while they're in college? It's almost nearly impossible, and it's very impressive that how these players do that. Also, many of the players are becoming a one and done. By one and done, I mean they are the freshmen that come in from the top of their league, and they play at the top of the league in the NCAA, and they do get drafted first round. Because they have set in mind that I need money and I'm going to need it soon. And what better way to go off and make money than in the pros instead of staying in college for 3 more years and getting their degree if they're ready to make money that year. And so that's when you also think we're called student athletes. Student comes first before athletes. They have to keep their grade. That is the sole purpose of a university, is to get that degree for these players. But with them not being able to make any money and provide for themselves or their family, what better way than go to the pros and make the money? Another thing is boosters. Boosters are defined as an alumni who had gone to that college and wants to support and influence a very star player from high school to go to their college and make their college look very good. One story is Reggie Bush. He came from a low-income family. He was either going to have to choose between working or going to college, and his mom maybe losing their place that they stayed because they had to keep up on rent. And then a booster came into play in Reggie Bush's life. This booster came along with money to pay for their rent and also give a vehicle to Reggie Bush. And now Reggie Bush made a decision that any high school kid would do. He's getting money to help pay, he's going to be able to go live his dream, and he's also going to get a vehicle to go to college with. But the problem is, with boosters, if you get caught, you have to return everything, and the players that didn't have boosters have to sit out a season chance of winning a bowl or a championship because you were not eligible anymore for that possibility. Another thing is how I've said before, the colleges make money off the athletes. A Fab 5 basketball player from Michigan said people would sit up in the top of the stands and you can't see their faces, all you see is the numbers. And when you go into their sports store inside the stadium to buy stuff, all there is their number on the jersey in there, not names or anything else, but people are buying that number because he was one of the players on the court. But he didn't get to see any of that money for all the contributions he made, and he said it would have been very helpful to have that money throughout colleges. Another player spoke out saying it would have been nice to receive money because there are some nights I go to bed hungry because I didn't have enough money for food that week, for that day. And that's an important thing to think because these players are making them millions and millions of dollars, but yet they can't pay these players a little bit of money to help pay for their necessities or other things for back home. Universities make money off every performance inside a college. And many of the players don't see any money. They put in more hours than an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday worker. They are becoming one and done players and not receiving their education. Illegal things are happening, such as the boosters. And Reggie Bush, prime example. He had to return his Heisman Trophy for what he has done. But the booster never gave him that Heisman Trophy. He dedicated himself to get that trophy. This topic has been conversed about a lot, and many things have been found. Next is a solution in which this can be done. Just pay the players a stipend. And I'm not saying give them millions of dollars for doing what they do in the sport. Give them a stipend, maybe minimum wage for every hour they do. This way they can save money for themselves while they're at college or even after college. Or they can send money home in better life for their parents, their family, their younger siblings. You could slow down or maybe even stop boostering, because now there's going to be no need for them to pay off the rent, because he's going to be receiving money for that, which is helpful in many ways. Also, another way we can do this is set money aside from every season. So you look through your last season, how much players went through and how much money you made, and then you put aside that money to slowly pay the players and their stipend. Another is pay college coaches less. College coaches are in the top 10% highest paid public speaking figures, which is weird because they only work 8 to 5 months out of the year. And another thing is Bo Pelini, the Nebraska Cornhusker coach. Once we signed off on his contract, he could have sat at home for about another 7 months, and he could have been paid $7 million for every time. All he had to do was sit on his couch, because we were paying through his contract. And all that money that could be saved could go out to paying the players, or maybe even supporting or maybe upgrading their facilities for the players. And as with everything, there are always objections that people want to say. One of the main objections is these will now be considered pro athletes. Because in NCAA Regulations 1, it says that any player that receives payment is now considered a pro athlete. But when you think about it, in the AHL is a hockey league that is not pro, but yet the players still receive payments to help pay for their necessities and things back home. Another thing is, will certain players get more? Do the star athletes get paid more than incoming younger players? No. From freshmen to juniors, you would get paid a minimum amount, and then senior year, you'll get paid in a raise. By doing this, it will influence the players to stay in college and receive that payment of that senior year, because it will be helpful and they get to do what they love and receive a payment for doing it. By paying these students athletes, they can start to live a healthier life in college. We can also help slow down boosters, and then we can set money aside for players and cut back on the coach's payment. And then the objections were easily reputable, and it's going well. And then what will these changes do? Now this is the vision part. What are we going to see out of this? And this is going to see a better home life. Many of these players that come from a low-income poverty family. And now, if they're able to go off to college and receive payment and be able to send money home to their families, this will improve their lives for maybe their younger siblings or their community in which they live in. And it's always about giving back to the community. And then also they can pay their debt sooner. I understand that you hear full ride scholarship, but sometimes that doesn't mean you're going to get everything in college. You're going to still have to pay for stuff, and if you're putting all your time and work into trying to do your sport, where are you going to make that money? Because you're trying to keep your grades up also. So this way, now they can save money a little bit at a time, and they can pay off their college debt sooner. And more degrees, no more one and dones. If they know they're going to get paid through college, they're going to be able to do everything they love while they're there. They're going to be hanging out with their friends. They're not going to have such busy lives. They're going to get paid for what they do, and that's an important thing to think about. And then, with that more degrees, people are going to get that education, which is the sole purpose, as I said before, of university. Such as the name student athlete. Student comes before athlete. Slow down and stop boosters. This is hugely important, because this is what's going to make every team equal in every way. Because it's going to let those kids make the choice upon themselves and not outside influences. And support family. As I said before, this is important because family always comes first. Reggie Bush made the decision that he was going to be able to support his family, and he was also going to be able to go do what he loves off in college. Money has become an essential for everyday life. It is difficult to balance a job and a sport through college. It is a choice between one or the other. Very rarely will you be able to make that choice. There'd be an incentive to finish schooling if they had the payment, because there would be no more one and dones. All of these things can happen if they receive money for what they have done for their respective colleges. Maybe one day the NCAA will choose to start paying their athletes and all their contributions to what they do for their college. By doing this, all they have to do is pay their players a stipend. A stipend is just a certain amount of money in which they can pay their players throughout their season and off-season. We'll be able to see the differences in the athletes from their home life, their college life, and their off-season life. There is a need for college athletes to receive payment because many of them are not doing so well and they're starting to fall into the poverty level. Paying them a stipend will solve many of their problems. I will continue to watch and in hope that the NCAA will choose to pay their players and to fix the problems that these players are having.